Let's bring in Kristen Welker now to talk a little bit more about that exclusive conversation with the president, the reaction to that conversation as well. Kristen, good morning to you. It was certainly wide-ranging, Kristen, and we know poll after poll reveals that it's the economy that matters most to voters. And to hear the president double down on the doll comment specifically, what, if anything, have you heard from folks about that part of the conversation?
Craig, great question. I have heard one Republican strategist overnight saying it's just not the right tone, that it suggests there's going to be a belt tightening in America. Karl Rove, Republican strategist, said it makes the president sound like a Scrooge. The president fired back at Karl Rove about that. But just taking a step back, this was the #1 issue for voters. The president had promised to bring down prices on day one to start to make the economy better. Now he's talking about that transition cost. You heard him repeat that line there. I asked him, how long is this transition going to last? He didn't give me a timeline, Craig, instead doubling down on that argument. Ultimately, the economy will be stronger. The timeline, though, the midterm elections in 2026.
And let's also talk, Kristen, about his comments about the Supreme Court, because a lot of people had wondered, all right, what would happen if the Supreme Court comes up with a ruling that the administration doesn't like? Will he follow the Supreme Court? He was fairly clear with you that he would.
That's right. He said he would follow the Supreme Court. I asked him, though, look, does he think that he needs to uphold the Constitution, that everyone deserves due process? That's where he said, I don't know. This becomes the defining issue, I think, one of them, Savannah, of his administration, this clash with the courts that he is having. Look, some Democrats going so far as to say this is already a constitutional crisis, the mere fact that he's having all of these clashes with the courts. But unlike the economy, Savannah, the president gets higher marks on his handling of the border and immigration. Again, one of his top issues, one of the biggest issues he campaigned on, Savannah.
All right. Kristen Welker on that exclusive sit-down over the weekend with the president. Kristen, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.